Hi, sexy. Thank you so much for joining me again today. I'm Dr. Lenore, your friendly sex and relationship counselor and therapist. And this is Anti-Aging Sensuality. I'm so glad to have you with me. Today, I want to talk about a subject that many of you asked about and is very relevant. It's very notable and very persistent in our relationships. And I want to relate to it because it involves most heterosexual couples, and you'll understand in a minute why I relate to it orientation wise. And so today's topic has to do with egalitarianism in the relationship and how it impacts our sexual interest or the frequency of our sexuality, our intimacy. How often do we have sex, and does it have to do with the aspect of egalitarianism? So I went and investigated and looked for a few studies that have to do with this topic, and I came across a few things. One of them was actually titled, "Want to have more sex? Do the laundry." It's very interesting, it's very funny, and very relevant because you'll understand in a minute what do they have to do, these house chores have to do with the factor of intimacy and relationship and sex in the relationship. So, in general, I found a few studies that dealt with this topic. One of them was actually examining what is the impact of house chores or house chores that are core house chores, like related to feminine aspect of it, meaning cleaning, cooking, taking care of the children, and non core household chores that are mostly kind of manly, uh, hanging things around the house, fixing things, changing the light bulbs, things like that that are requiring more muscle or physical ability, for that matter, that are considered male. Do these feminine household chores or the male household chores, what is their impact on the frequency of our sexual exchange in the relationship? Does it have any impact? And before I give you the results that were interesting enough, I'll give you a few nuggets of information. First of all, I want to say that we did find in many, many studies that couples that have an equality in their relationship, in their marriage, for instance, both parties are working outside the home and in the house. So both parties are involved in doing things around the house and also bringing the bread, winning the income. Both ends are bringing the money in, and so they share the responsibility on both ends. These couples showed a very high marital satisfaction comparing to couples that were more traditional or old-fashioned, where the husband was going out to make the money and support the house, and the wife was raising the children and cleaning the house, doing the house chores. So, first of all, the marital satisfaction was higher in the nouveau couple. That's one. The second part is that I want to say that through the examination and the analysis of the data, as unfortunate it is because the feminist vibe is very present in today's reality, and it's very politically incorrect to say, but what we find from the data, and I'm talking about Western countries, um, sexuality or sex per se is still a female currency. In other words, like it says in the title of that study that I mentioned, you want to have more sex, do the laundry. So, in other words, women still are holding something over men in a sense. It's not necessarily being translated or being exhibited, uh, practiced this way, but but still, women are supposed to be the genders that is the receiver, the non-initiator, the acceptor, the willing to do, but not the initiator. So still, it's something that men are more interested in, and women are giving as a present, as something that is given as a support of receiving something else like help in the household chores. So as I said, it's not feminist at all. It's not necessarily the case, but I want you to take these factors. First of all, the satisfaction, the marital satisfaction in the couples that are more equal, and the fact that women are still holding some form of currency in sex over men, when I give you the results, because the results show that men that were involved in non-traditional household chores, like the manly chores, that the fixing, the hanging, the replacing, all these things that are manly, were enjoying a much more frequent sexual exchange with their wives, comparing to the other cohort of men that were involved in traditional feminine household chores. These men were showing a very low um, frequent of sexuality, of sexual exchange. So why is that? Is there a difference in involving my husband in cooking and cleaning comparing to involving him in hanging a picture or changing a light bulb? Is it different? Obviously, according to the study, it is. And the assumption was that maybe the reason for that is that men are still, as I said, the initiators, and having them involved in all these house chores could relate to them becoming exhausted, tired, uninterested, maybe um, giving up on when they do the feminine house chores, feeling unhappy with their partner, not initiating. And as a result of that, the women that are usually looked upon as these fragile creatures that are just waiting to be seduced into sex and not initiating, maybe the end result is that the sex is less frequent because the men are less initiating. That's a possibility. But I think that bringing egalitarianism into our relationship is wonderful and blessed and everything. But I want to make note of the fact that even in today's society, with the feminine aspect of everything and with a politically correct note on every aspect of our lives, the initiating part that men are very much like exhibiting, very much like opening the car door or the home door or picking up the check or things like that that are today maybe are less politically correct or maybe not so obvious as they used to be. They form some form of turn on to still, unfortunately or not unfortunately, the majority of women. So, in other words, perhaps the sex roles or the gender roles that we are so accustomed to try and bend or try to make men very much like women or share the same kind of realm or a responsibility or whatever it is, and I'm not saying that it shouldn't be, but I am saying that in the bedroom, perhaps the fact that men are initiators, men are more dominating, more or stronger, or holding force, a sexy force, over their partner is not necessarily a horrific thing, not necessarily a horrible thing, and maybe, just maybe, it could be a turn on. So take it into account and think about it. This is the result of, these are the results of the statistics when it comes to this specific study. Hopefully this kind of put things in and shed some light on this topic. Hopefully this makes you think, and that's the most important thing. And I'm very grateful for your questions. Please keep sending them. I'm loving all of them and I'm going to relate to all of them shortly, I promise. And until then, as I always say, stay sexy and subscribe. I look forward to seeing you again here soon. Bye-bye.